Batman was always a crazy person and that Alfred has been dressing up as all of these bad guys as a way to distract him.
And then it goes on his face, a little steam goes out, and then he takes his first breath. But rewind that. He turns to his grandson who's watching him through the Force and says, "Don't let this happen to you."
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Filup Molina. This is Rogue Theory. Today we are solving a murder with the help of Bruce Wayne. We have Erik Voss.
Hi.
Tommy Bechtold.
Hi.
And Angelica Trae.
Hello.
Guys, okay, the Batman. There was a leak that Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's The Batman movie is actually going to be what I've been pitching for years. You can find me in multiple videos saying this. A detective story. It's finally going to be the world's greatest detective solving a mystery, specifically a murder mystery. So what I want to know, it's going to feature the Rogues Gallery. I'm going to set up some points here of some things that we know about it, and then I want to hear the most rogue theories about what this movie is actually going to be about. So we know it's Robert Pattinson, so you can't change who is playing Batman.
Okay.
We do know that it's a younger Batman.
Mm-hmm.
We now know it's a detective story and will feature members of the Rogues Gallery, right? And it is not gonna be an origin story, even though it's young Batman. So it's like youthful Batman or whatever, but it's not. Your story doesn't have to be like, and then this is why he decides to become Batman. He's already Batman.
Yeah,
He's
Batman
okay.
year 2 or year 3.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now I want to hear rogue theories. What mysteries he's solving? What's this movie about? Anyone can start.
My rogue theory for this is, okay, so when they said younger, like, and they cast Robert Pattinson in this role, I've been watching a ton of Mindhunter on Netflix. I love this series, and I love Silence of the Lambs. I watch them at the same time. They both kind of have the same thing of a younger, but not like brand new, but just kind of a younger FBI agent who has to interrogate and get inside the mind of already incarcerated mastermind villains, serial killers, to understand a current crime spree that's happening that they can't make heads or tails of. So imagine a scenario where you see a younger Batman going back to the Batcave to a supercomputer, listening to old tapes of Harvey Dent, of whatever the Joker is, of the Riddler, as they're sitting there smoking, and he's just taking off his cowl, and he's like, I can't figure this out. And suddenly they say something that inspires him. He screams at Alfred. Alfred drops his silver platter, and he says,
He was holding it, waiting to drop it anytime you get a good idea.
Yeah, he's just standing there. Okay.
and he goes to some address in the Batwing of some random Narrows apartment, and he's able to figure out, based off of something that Harvey Dent and that the Riddler said, he's able to cross-reference it and figure out, using old school FBI crime interrogation tactics with serial killers.
I like 98% of this. I don't like that he doesn't go to Arkham Asylum and actually interview them on the other side of glass.
Those are the tapings. Those are tapings as he's gone cell by cell down Arkham Asylum, and then maybe something happens just like in Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal Lecter breaks out. This leads to all of these criminal masterminds breaking out of Arkham Asylum and spreading around Gotham to set us up with a new Rogues Gallery, a new cinematic universe of Batman villains.
So I see what you did there. Like you definitely did slow it down. It does feel a lot more like a mystery, you know, going through this and solving the puzzle. And I think that would be great to sort of work through that, you know, with Robert Pattinson's character.
Why is that a joke?
Yeah. I don't know why. I still think of Twilight when
You're
I
thinking
see
of Vampire
him.
Baseball.
It's really Vampire. I recently went back and
Great band.
rewatched that scene and just cringed, but also was just so, like, I don't know, amazed that made it to theaters. Anyways,
It's Muse. Muse carried it to the theaters.
Yeah, Muse did it.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing I'm seeing what you did there. But I could also see that being a little too slow paced. Like, where's the action here? He's just sitting in the Batcave.
When he drops the silver platter,
Okay,
it's
that
a
is
loud
action.
noise, wakes everyone up.
That is a loud noise for sure. Wakes all the bats up.
I think though you would have to go that route of like he's making regular visits to Arkham. And then, you know, we learn about these. Maybe there's even like flashbacks or something.
Sure,
maybe he's the one that put these people in Arkham, and so we have like a little bit of these little mini vignettes.
Yeah, sure. Imagine the structure of the movie Inside Man, that Spike Lee movie, where it cuts back and forth between the interviews of the people who were hostages to the action as it's happening. So we cut back to Robert Pattinson interviewing, Catwoman or something, and then it cuts back to this killer on the loose, and he's trying to chase them down.
I never saw the end of that movie. This is a true story. I'm gonna say this as quickly as I can. I got like the flu that night while I was watching it, and I was so
Which movie?
Inside Man.
Oh, yeah.
And I was feeling so bad in the theaters, and I was like, I wish this movie would end. I wish it would end. And then the celluloid melted.
Oh,
What?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That only happens in movies.
you have
No, it happened
powers.
to me
Yeah,
in
you have
real life. I can
superpowers.
ruin any movie.
Wow.
I made a whole channel doing it.
The source fed?
Okay.
I'm not going to defend that.
That's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you
with
so much.
us.
I had to be very vulnerable to waste our time like that. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about this theory though, because what I do like about it is that it really focuses on getting into their minds.
Yeah.
That's something that actually doesn't happen enough in Batman stories. Is everyone talks about the mind of the Joker, but they're all maniacs, all of them, including
Yes.
Batman.
They're at
Yes.
the end
True.
of an extreme.
Yeah.
Rather than let's see someone who's in the middle.
So the psychological profiling of it too, Mindhunter. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think it'd be better than Mindhunter.
Yeah, and I could see some really good villain cameos with it. And we rarely ever get to focus on the actual the cleverness or the intelligence of Batman ever.
He's the smartest
smart.
man alive.
Exactly,
It'd be
but
like-
it's
Yeah.
always action.
It'd be a
Yes,
nice
we
change
do.
of pace to not just have like the only proof of his detective work, a messy Batcave. Like in the movies, I feel like there's always like 4 file folders like pinned to the wall. And
Yeah.
they flash and show that real quick, and then he goes back to just.
No, I want
whooping ass
Carrie from
somewhere.
Homeland.
Yes.
He hasn't taken his meds, and he's got like the
He's just
conspiracy.
he's taking
Yeah,
pills,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and get that stack of case files away from a dripping stalactite because
Yes.
a cave is no place
Yeah.
to do.
Well,
Yes.
a USB drive will just fall
Yeah.
apart in that environment. Tommy, tell us what your rogue theory
Yes.
is.
Okay. So, first of all, Eric, I really liked your theory. I want you to
Thank
know that I'm
you.
in support of it. But it's dark. It's certainly dark, and mine is dark. But mine is going even. My goal of mine is scary. I want mine to be
Okay.
that's where these movies are going these days. We have New Mutants coming out, which is basically a horror movie with.
Is it ever coming out though? Because
Listen,
that's a movie.
If you get sick
Stop trying
enough
to
and dream
dash
of enough film melting, it will never come
make
out.
the celluloid come back up. That movie has been pushed back so
Yes.
many times
Yeah.
that Arya Stark looks like 11 in it.
Right.
So,
I wonder if they overdid it and they're like, this is too scary, it's too spooky, and Tommy Bechtold won't like it, so we gotta
yeah.
No, so this is
Reel it
my
back.
world.
The
This
Beck
is
test.
it doesn't pass the Bechtold test.
Yeah.
That's when two
I believe what it
characters
is.
talk
I
about a
believe-
scary thing without referencing a man. Yes. Anyway, so my rogue theory is this is a like serial killer, freaky David Fincher level, like creepy gore, murder. So Batman.
Wait, you said his was too dark?
No, his is dark, but it's like kind
Oh,
of
it's like
like
not dark
No,
enough.
he was
No,
saying
it's
Boring dark.
It's not.
He was saying
It's
it's
not
dark, but he's-
gory and freaky enough for me. I want to go all the way.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I thought you
you're
were like,
piling
I want to
on.
make it nicer.
No,
you're
no,
making
no.
it way worse.
No,
Evil
this
Light
isn't your
Detective.
dad's Batman,
So-
guys. Okay,
Yeah.
this is so it starts with there's disappearances going on in Gotham, and the only thing they're recovering are parts of the people who disappeared. So we're getting a hand, an ear, a baseball cap with hair follicles.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. Is it a person?
It's still creepy. So Batman, we know he's obsessed with closure because his parents were murdered. That's the closure he could never seem to get. So these loose ends, literally loose ends of people, are driving him insane. So he has to go after the most sadistic of Gotham's rogues. Your toy maker, your Jervis Tetch, aka Mad Hatter. These are the characters in the comic books and in our Batman canon that actually murder people. The more whimsical Penguin and Riddlers tend to just kidnap people, but if you figure out how to stop them, they're like, go on with the rest of your day.
Right.
These are characters.
Please
that
don't get me in
follow
trouble.
Exactly. And even I think you can even start to hint at elements of a new Joker in this movie. Like maybe he suspects the Joker, or maybe there's the influence of that. And finally, he settles on the doll maker, who in the comics used to be a physician who did a lot of surgeries and then became disgraced and had to go into hiding or whatever. And his last name was Duelmacher, which is always kind of funny. It's a very so I think you can do that. And I think the thing with these characters are they haven't been established on screen yet in movies or in TV. So you can kind of play around with their origins and who they are. There's not a sacred they have to be done this way. So I think it kind of he's trying to solve this mystery and check off all of these boxes of who would be evil enough to do this? So he goes through, and then I think the thing that you have to do, because the Dollmaker isn't an iconic Batman villain, is it's a misdirect. He finally settles in and becomes obsessed with pinning it on the doll maker because, you know, again, he wants the closure. And then we need to find there needs to be a twist at the end. Like it needs to be like the doll maker in my vision is an older, like in his 70s, and maybe he has like a traveling health service nurse that comes in, and maybe she's convincing him to like cut these people apart.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the reveal is that these people are not dead. They've just been genetically like he's been sewing on body
Ew.
parts, like making Frankensteins.
Werner Herzog
Grafting.
as Duelmacher.
I'm kind of into something there at the end. Yeah, I am also picturing this
person.
Yes.
crazy doctor who's
Yes.
definitely in my head started to just become the human centipede
Yes.
doctor.
Yeah,
or
that's what
whatever.
I was thinking
Yeah.
It's
too.
essentially what you watch.
Or-
of
or
it.
Fra-
That guy was my
Frankenstein.
doctor for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you're saying that the doll maker is actually a puppet.
The doll maker
I
is
love it.
himself a puppet. Yes,
Yeah.
of either like maybe he has a son who is a seemingly failure to launch, like a guy who like lives with his father and is like in his 40s, but maybe it's because the son is actually an even more sick version of the doll maker.
I like that. Just a quick reminder that these movies had to specifically speak to and freak out Tommy Bechtold
Yes.
and the son that is a failure to launch. That just his parents don't know if he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Is that the part that's really great grabbing you?
I actually thought we'd maybe name the character Tommy in this version, and like, it would just be kind of a facsimile of me.
How much of this have you already enacted?
I've got 200 pages written, and
Gotcha.
we
And
actually rolled
got puppets
principal
in
How
his
many
Tom?
body parts,
Right.
though, Tommy?
So far none, but I'm ready. I mean, I'm excited about the
Do
possibility.
you plan to do it as a puppet show, like children's
Yeah.
theater?
I think, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, at the end, if you're not doing art for everyone, what's the point of even doing it?
He's
So
like, my
here's
walls
the
are
point.
covered with felt.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready. I'm preparing.
I feel like
Sounds
I've been
delightful.
pinned as a psychopath now, when all I did
We
was
never
present-
said the word
no, no.
psychopath. You used that word.
You said it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the theory that I like it. The thing that I think it needs is maybe like a race against time or something. Like as he's doing it,
There has
then
to
he
be
gets a finger that clearly belongs to Robin or something,
Alfred.
right? Alfred dropped the silver tray because he has no
Yes.
fingers anymore.
Are we talking about a crossover
I
here?
think we are.
But definitely, like he's hoping that maybe these people are still alive. It's like
Right.
the Lindbergh baby.
But then it's kind of Batman's obsessiveness as a detective is like he's always kind of in a race against himself to like get things done before, because in his mind, I feel like his character is inherently blames himself for everything. So like that's why he has this like savior complex and like, you know, dresses up in a costume.
Does he receive the body parts? Say it is Robin or something like at Wayne Manor or
Ooh,
something.
that would be very creepy.
Because that would mean that this
They'd
person
know.
also knows who.
Right.
who-
I think they
who he
put
is.
the severed hand on a spotlight and project it onto the.
Oh, that's pretty good. And it still shapes like a robin or something.
It's the Longhorns.
Yeah, it's like beautiful.
I love you in sign language.
Oh my god, he's a monster.
We're dealing with a real freak.
I like it.
I love you too.
Oh, God.
Sweet. All right. And you call this theory?
Ripping it with Batman based on Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Jack the Ripper, but as Dollmaker.
Batman ripped.
Ripped Batman. He's always ripped.
Yeah. Well, this time it's in more than one way.
Literal
Yes.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Shredded.
Funny.
Yeah, that also works. Angelica, defeat their rogue theories with yours.
Okay, well, here's what I was thinking is maybe separating a little bit away from the gruesomeness, but still keeping it obviously
Probably a great idea.
Still keeping it obviously very like noir, right? But make it more mind bending, you know, more like Robert Pattinson as you know, Bruce Wayne here. He's like questioning himself, and he doesn't know what's reality and what's like fiction, what's an illusion here. And I'm thinking maybe like a Memento route or like a Dark City where it's just like there's like false, like unreliable information, and he's trying to gather information to maybe like catch like a major villain here, and he's not sure. Like maybe towards the end, is it me? Having false memories, like he's waking up maybe in certain places. I'm trying to hash this out, but it's just as like it's hard, right?
Well,
'Cause you're-
I'm asking, but I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you.
Okay.
What's causing all his confusion?
well, I was thinking maybe so we've seen in the past like Scarecrow
That's
kind
what I
of
was thinking,
deals
yeah,
with
yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
I don't know like
hallucinations
like hallucinations like experimental drugs and things like that. But yeah, I'm fully working it out in my head. But I think that's a really good route to go.
Yeah.
And just have it be like we're on edge trying to figure out like what is real.
So
yeah.
so trying to solve crimes that may or may not be happening, right?
Yes.
and that you may or may not have been the person that committed them.
Just implications everywhere. And then, obviously all the, we're going to have some villains coming in like Penguin, Catwoman, and it's going to just mix it all up and make it super gray area.
There's a crazy one-off Batman comic that is kind of, it's not quite as, I think, like, compelling as your idea, but it's that Batman was always a crazy person and that Alfred has been dressing up as all of these bad guys as a way to distract him, because he's like he's a rich kid whose parents died, and he's like just insane. So Alfred just takes him along on these adventures and like dresses up as the Joker, dresses up as all these people.
That's the show. Yeah. That's it.
As Robin. As a beautiful Poison Ivy.
Neil Gaiman wrote it. It was like a one-off comic book. Yeah. It's like
does it feature Bruce Wayne going through like the laundry and finding like the Riddler's jumpsuit and be like, Alfred, what are you doing?
Are you in a relationship with Edward Nygma?
Yes, Master Wayne. This is your new co-butler, and I didn't want to introduce him to you yet.
He just drops the tray.
Oh my God.
Your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong.
I think I hit Catwoman in the bathroom.
Drops the Catwoman mask. Change it for Mrs. Doubtfire. Alfred, the whole time, Alfred.
I feel like I need to see this now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like your idea better, to be clear.
I think this is your idea, right?
Yeah, let's just blend it all in together. Maybe Alfred gets implicated.
Angelica, you brought up I feel like one of the cooler things in Nolan's Batman Begins was this whole thing of like Scarecrow's hallucinations, and like we see these point of view shots where like Batman's face is this crazy demonic inky face. You see like bats flying out of Scarecrow's mask, and Nolan totally shied away from those kind of subjective shots because he's such an objective filmmaker. And I wish that like he leaned more into that in Batman Begins and showing this kind of like trippy visuals, and I would love to see a Batman that dives more into that kind of hallucinatory imagery.
Yeah, definitely, especially since noir, as a genre, it's so gritty and kind of like, realistic, but with the art style and the heavy shadows and things, but then you can really mix that in with questioning that reality and bending it. And so I think that'd be super cool.
I'm going to give you one addition on yours too, but anyway, you guys can help me fill in the blank. To start this all off, we didn't really clarify what crime he's trying to solve. So who's been killed?
Robin, right? Robin or someone close to him, Gordon, Selena Kyle, or Alfred, right?
Yeah, I feel Robin also is probably like the one that you like don't want it to be. But the reason why it can be any of the names you say is because also they might not be dead, right?
Right.
It might be, again, maybe he sees them at one point, and he's like, "Wait, I'm solving your murder." But then
that's
also,
crazy.
if he is losing it, it can be,
It's kind of like Vertigo a little bit, where you think there's like doubles of people, and he thinks he sees the person he's chasing, but it's not that person. And that is kind of like that Hitchcock influence that the director has mentioned in the past.
Right? Because that would be really fun, right? So Robin may or may not be dead, and then Batman is solving the crime and finding that he himself may or may not have killed him.
Or just Robin told Alfred, like, I don't want to talk to Bruce right now. So if you could dress up as someone who murdered me.
I need a break. I'm thinking about fate. I'm gone girling myself. I'm gonna gone girl myself now.
But if we can just go down the line again, just before we declare who just had the most rogue theory here, and just sum it up maybe in a tweet's worth.
Sure.
So Eric?
Okay, so my version of the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman, Mindhunter, Arkham Asylum.
Batman collides with Jack the Ripper in a thrilling new mystery. Who will have the final say? Who will have the final slice? Batman Ripped. Theaters, November 24th. Take a date.
Take a date. It's like a date night.
So
gruesome. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Batman, Batman in like a mind-bending whodunit. And could Batman be the potential villain here with hallucinatory drugs? Go see it very soon in theaters.
Also take a date.
Yeah, go take a date too. Just
take a date.
All right, for this segment, the Rogue Award is going to. Your theory is so out there, Angelica, but I think by the end you didn't like it. And so Tommy, the body parts in the mail.
That's the bottom line. Because Tommy Bechtold said so.
So that's just a segment. You can get a Rogue Doll in the next one. But before we go into our next segment, real quick, we gotta say some thank yous. You spend 1/3 of your life asleep, so you should be comfortable. Casper mattresses can help. Casper's products are designed to mimic human curves, providing supportive comfort for all kinds of bodies. The original Casper mattress combines multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with the right amount of sink and bounce. Breathable design also helps you sleep cool and regulates your body temperature throughout the night. The mattress is delivered right to your door in a surprisingly small box. You'll be a little freaked out at how small of a box a full-size, super comfortable mattress can be shipped in. I actually legitimately got one of these for my mom, and she says it's her favorite mattress she's ever had in her entire life. By the way, you can be sure of your purchase with Casper's 100-night risk-free Sleep On It trial, and you could get $100 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/rockstars and using Rockstars at checkout. And of course, terms and conditions apply. That's casper.com/rockstars and promo code Rockstars for $100 towards select mattresses. All right, back to it. Guys, Disney canceled a panel that was going to feature Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott, which I think that's how you say it.
Hey, McDermott?
Dylan
McDermott?
McDarnett?
Yeah, Dermot
McDonald?
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Derbil
McDonald's.
is
Drobit Taylor.
Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt McGirt.
Guys, Palpatine and young Anakin Skywalker were both going to be on a panel, and then it got canceled for some reason. And it could be as simple as not a great panel, but apparently Disney had some reason to cancel it. So people are thinking, oh, it's because it would have given away something about how Hayden Christensen could maybe be appearing in Rise of Skywalker.
Of course. I mean, this has got to be a smoking gun, right? 'Cause any cancellation or evidence of a cover-up means there is a conspiracy at work. We've learned this as fans.
Yes.
This is the only evidence we have.
So
There's no need to overreact.
Yeah, assuming that J.J. Abrams has something to hide, and we all know, of course,
He's got a lot of
does.
skeletons.
He's a
Oh.
human
Yeah.
mystery
Oh, yeah.
box, that
Yeah.
one.
Then what is he hiding about maybe bringing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker
I love
to
this.
the new film? Why would he bring him back?
Okay, I remember reading about there was a leaked scene description where Kylo Ren was going to witness the origin moment of Darth Vader when the mask gets lowered on Hayden Christensen's burnt face. What if they're going to reshoot that scene, but his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, who has now become Darth Vader, turns to him and gives him some kind of frightening warning. He thinks he's seen something that's already historical, but now history is speaking to him,
Can you,
warning him.
just to clarify, and sorry to podcast listeners, can you visually walk us through exactly how this is playing out? You can take the mic with you.
Okay, so imagine where...
Oh, you got plenty of room here.
Right. I don't know the structural integrity of this table.
It's
I do
gotcha.
know my weight, and I'm not proud of it. But there is there's that moment where Anakin, here, hold my beer. Anakin is laying on the table.
Okay, yep.
And he's burning. He's all burned and
Okay,
charred.
Tommy, you can be Anakin here.
Yeah.
Or no,
he's
sorry, you can
screaming,
be
You're the
Kylo.
droid. You're the medical droid. And lowering
Sorry,
the mask.
you're a
coming.
stupid droid.
And his body's being put back together.
Angelica, you can be Kylo.
Okay.
So get up there.
Always a bridesmaid.
Anakin is screaming, ah, 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 and his eyes are and then it goes on his face, a little steam goes out, and then he takes his first breath. But rewind that. He turns to his grandson who's watching him through the Force and says, "Don't let this happen to you. This is your mind on the dark side. Kill me. Kill me." And then Kylo wakes up in a cold sweat, definitely shirtless, because
This was Kylo over here.
oh, okay, I didn't realize who was playing
Yeah,
him.
well, he
It's
was
okay.
going into the medical mirror.
I'm
Right,
wearing
right.
The, I'm
And the
wearing
gallery
high
was up
pants.
here.
I got the high pants on.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm drinking some
no
blue-
belly button.
I got blue milk somehow.
Yeah.
Kylo wakes up in a terrified, deep breathing. He realizes, oh, the history that I knew about my grandfather is not what I thought it was not this majestic, misunderstood villain who was torn down. But
It wasn't a
What?
coronation.
It wasn't a coronation. It was torture. He was
Yeah.
forced into this, and I don't want this to happen to me.
Yeah.
So your pitch is that he comes back. He's put in this film in order to set Kylo Ren on the good path.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And he just waited until Kylo had killed enough people to
right.
intervene.
But he's buried on Endor. That's where they have the funeral pyre. Maybe they revisit his grave or that site, and then that kind of memory is now re-triggered in Kylo. And the whole point of it is to change the memory of him and take one of the cooler moments from Revenge of the Sith, which I think is unfairly maligned from the original trilogy. It's definitely better than the other two. And take one of these better moments right before the no moment, but right when he takes that first breath as Vader, and make it mean something to these 3 new films.
Yep. I like that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm into that.
I see it, yeah, because we have just nothing in sight right now for how Kylo is. I don't know, he just seems so on the dark side, like so determined for it.
When he's so wrong about Vader, where he's like, I'll finish what you started, and it's like, he didn't see the last movie.
Yeah, did he not
needs that
watch
wake-up call.
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, he needs that full wake-up call, and literally with your theory, he wakes up
Yes. And gets a call.
and gets a little call on his
What it better be good.
Exactly, it looks like a little droid in his phone.
Would you like to save 10% on your insurance?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Well, if you have a moment, I'd love to talk to you about
I got
this.
face slash. Do you treat that?
We have some vitamins that can heal that. That would be very nice. Yeah.
Tommy, why are they bringing back Hayden Christensen?
It's so funny that Eric, you focus so much on Kylo Ren, because I think this is a Rey play all day. Everybody, I think this is Rey play, baby, and we do it every day, the true gangster way. Yeah, I think. I think Rey is going to. We saw the spooky.
Sorry,
Rey.
Angelica, what was that? You hate Tommy?
I hated that. No, I hated that. Nothing against you. Oh God. Oh, he looks like he's gonna cry. I'm
No,
sorry.
this is his rage building.
Oh.
No, go
can't
ahead.
even tell anymore.
Go ahead, Tommy. Show her.
It's fine. Trust me. Nobody at this table hates me more than I hate myself. I
Hey,
assure
your
you.
parents are here. You're right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
But they will be here later.
Oh,
They've
great.
got to pick me up. Court ordered. So anyway, this is a Rey play all day, baby, the true gangster way. And so we've seen from like the few things that have come out that Rey is going to have this crazy, kind of stapler style lightsaber that she can then go, and then she's got scary face. C-3PO has scary eyes. I think this is all going to be about Rey getting seduced by little evil Sith Horcruxes throughout throughout Endor and maybe the wreckage of the Death Star. She's going to have a vision of Hayden Christensen, maybe a like kind of a zombified like Vader helmet cracked, a side face of Hayden Christensen here.
Here's what I'm trying to do is I want to actually support it, because here's what I do like about the Horcrux idea is that Rey does have that moment when she grabs Luke's lightsaber
And Obi-Wan talks
and
her.
well, she has a huge vision, right?
Yeah.
Like she ends up running out of the Maz Kanata's castle because of that.
Well, I'm thinking, so can't the equal and opposite? Isn't that what the Force all
Yeah.
is? Is the every action has an equal and opposite reaction? Like, can't she have a profound dark vision that way? Like that was seemingly like Obi-Wan and other Jedis compelling her to start her quest. Can't her seduction into the dark side be compelled in a similar way? Maybe that lightsaber has some. Maybe that whoever the owner of that dual-bladed lightsaber is the true mastermind of all of this. He or her could be orchestrating all of this as a giant puppet master.
Who is it?
At the end of the day, for me, it's always Chewbacca,
It's always been Chewbacca. It always will be Chewbacca.
or it's Wicket. It's Wicket
Sad.
back from Endor.
Okay.
I think maybe what bummed me out about your thing is that poor Hayden Christensen gets pulled out of forced retirement to be a dead face in a mask.
I don't know. I think
And
he's
that's,
talking
basically
to her. Like I think he.
Oh, he's just like, hey,
No,
we
I
don't know
think
each
it's
other.
like
But
it's either scary
It's cute.
imagery that like
It's a meet cute.
if you don't want this to happen, I will call J.J. Abrams tonight and cancel us going forward with this.
you
but
promised you would leave him alone.
all right,
Court ordered.
That was the court. Yeah, that was the court order. Okay.
that's why I can't drive anymore. I drove my car into J.J.
judgment.
Abrams' house too many times, just battering ramming my way in, and finally I found out he didn't live there. It was Bill Nye's house, but
Nahi or Nye?
both.
Oh, God.
They live together.
Oh,
They
beautiful.
live in
Yeah.
a duplex.
Yeah,
So
Stop
sweet.
doing your experiments.
that's a pretty good Bill Nye. Okay, so Hayden Christensen's purpose is to
I think he's in the movie.
Torment.
I'm agreeing with this theory that he's
Okay.
in the movie. I think he appears in a spooky imagery that's part of the seduction of trying to get Rey to the dark side.
gotcha.
I
Great.
think he's a conduit to that.
All right. I like it.
Okay.
Angelica.
Well, I was thinking a little bit on maybe like a simpler, less, crazy mind bending, but I was thinking maybe like he's a clone. I don't know. That's pretty,
I love it.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like that's pretty straightforward.
Okay. I do like that because that means that we could just have Darth Vader back in this movie, and I think clones are going to play a role. I've went into it before. Ray clone.
It could be used as propaganda too to like reinvigorate, like the
First Order.
fervor. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the big tie they kind of make with that.
So what happens? He shows up as a clone, and what's the rest of your theory here?
I'm thinking maybe he shows up as a clone, and he could possibly, be in talks with Kylo, and maybe like I guess well like
negotiations.
Like Kylo, I think he needs a little bit of guidance, obviously, so maybe he could be sort of like guiding here.
Kylo is obsessed with him.
He tags him in a few Instagram posts, so it's like, oh, are these guys having lunch
and
together?
Kylo, I think Kylo is seeking that father figure.
Yes.
And what better than a Vader
well,
father?
he could have had a father, but he murdered him.
Yeah, well,
No, that's totally interesting. It's the character that Kylo is the most driven by could just show up, and then they have to like defeat him or something, or fight him. He's also, I'll just remind you, that character, even though we kind of were like all past Anakin Skywalker, that's because the prequels didn't stick with us enough. But the character of Anakin Skywalker is the like biggest deal in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
He is the immaculate conception that the Force made, supposedly. Right? We all know that his mom.
I believe she
claims she has a claim.
Yeah.
But if what she says is true, this is the Force baby. I mean, it kind of is a big deal. And if we're gonna wrap up this entire saga,
he's the mascot.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
So your thing has him playing the biggest role, right? Maybe he's even the one pulling strings or whatnot. But he's been a clone.
He's been brought back
the whole time.
Yeah, and honestly, it could be one of those situations where it does take a turn, and he's actually being puppeteered in some way, shape, or form. By like
Chewbacca.
By Chewbacca, of course, the great mastermind of this whole thing. But I could definitely see maybe him being cloned and then being used as like not like propaganda, but definitely being a tool, being a puppet.
Gotcha. All right, give him to me again in a tweet.
Okay, can I lay back on the table?
Yes, you can. You can
do it. Do the whole thing
so much
real fast.
Work. My tweet is Kylo Nightmare sees Hayden. They get scared straight.
Yeah. These are bad tweets. What does this tweet mean? EA Voss just tweeted Kylo Nightmare.
Okay. Yeah.
Mine is written in the form of a headline. It's a Rey play. Jedi says later Vader to scary vision.
Wow.
I love it. I can't decipher any of it, but I'm not good with those kinds of headlines. So I was like,
it's a Rey play, comma,
it's about Rey.
Jedi says later Vader to scary vision.
Okay, it's just a vision, and she says later.
And she says later Vader to the scary vision.
Maybe we say it all again one more time. Yeah,
I need that.
There is no Dana. There is only Zool.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
And then your tweet.
Clone Vader returns.
Yeah.
Clone Vader returns.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's straightforward.
Clone Vader returns. No, you don't have to give her yours. So it's a vision.
Speaking of clones,
it's a vision.
It's a Rey play.
I mean, it's a clone. It's got to get the most rogue
I
theory
think,
there.
Yes.
I think it was very clear that the clone idea is the best idea.
Yeah, it's not rhyme theory. Yeah. All right, great.
It's not?
Guys, you guys are rhyming for no reason. There are no points awarded. All right, so just catch people up. Tommy has one rogue doll, and then Angelica has the other rogue.
Congratulations.
Which means right now could either end this whole show, could end in a tie if Erik is able to take home the last segment, or one of these two is gonna go home crowned victor of the episode. Rogue questions will decide it.
Oh my gosh.
Rogue questions.
If I don't win, I'll buy my own rogue action figures like I do every week.
No, you don't do that. No one do that. You can't. Don't just buy.
I
don't have any money. I'm not allowed to have a
I'm
bank
gonna bring
account.
like just 5 in and be like, I win.
These are all marked in very specific ways.
Okay.
To know.
Just write Filup on the foot.
I will
say Andy on
blindly
the bottom.
believe that.
Great.
No
All right.
investigation.
I'm looking now.
All right. This is it. You guys could win on this,
we
or
have to
you
buzz
could
in?
be relevant.
That's all I want.
Yeah. Guys, It Chapter 2 came out last week. And who's got the best creepy kind of Pennywise-y laugh? It's a little Mark Hamill-y in there. Yeah, that one creeped me the F out right there.
That was just like a Jay Leno car horn right there.
Well, I think I was trying to be Woody Woodpecker.
A little bit.
Who's a good guy.
Okay, I got my inspiration from somewhere.
Good.
We'll give that point to Eric for trying the most, guys. And it was good. 50 Cent said this week that he'd direct a Marvel movie. Just so you know, by the way, he's willing to direct a Marvel movie, as long as it didn't take too much of his time.
Oh, well, I'm glad he's setting a what we call in the psychology community a loving fence. He's putting boundaries up. He wants to do it on his terms.
When did you enter the psychology community?
I've just seen a lot of
court
Yeah, exactly.
When he got the court order.
Court. What MCU movie would we be okay with 50 Cent screwing up?
Howard the Duck.
Really?
Suicide Squad 2.
He just is that off.
He makes it an MC.
Let's see.
yeah.
Let's think about this. This
is an important question.
There's a Daredevil comic line written by Bob Gale where Daredevil sues himself, or Matt Murdock sues Daredevil, and it's a gritty courtroom crime drama. I think 50 Cent, with his work on Power, could really handle like a courtroom setting, kind of lower. It wouldn't be a lot of action shoot days, so it wouldn't mess with his busy 50 Cent schedule that he's obviously
What about a
concerned
Punisher
about.
movie? There's so much gunfire.
So, and these are all movies that we're okay with him ruining.
I think he's moving past
Yeah.
that, though.
I think
What
I'm
about
leaning
Squirrel
into
Girl?
his strengths.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Tommy did have 3 answers. I'm going to give it to Tommy with his 3
Yeah.
answers. Guys, Margot Robbie is making a Tank Girl movie. What's the first thing you'd do if you owned a tank?
Oh.
Smash it into J.J. Abrams' house.
Yeah.
I would stop Eric from doing that with my tank.
With your tank. Just do tank traffic.
Meanwhile, both Bill Nye and Bill Nye are there with a test tube and a tea.
and a giant
He doesn't live here.
I would definitely want to crush things.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe drive over something, if there's a miniature, maybe drive through a studio and then knock down all the set stuff.
Who does the studio belong to? Is it us and you're going to do that thing where you ruin the set every time?
Oh my
you're
gosh,
here?
it's come full circle.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's compulsive at this point. But
All right,
yeah,
fair.
that would be ideal, honestly.
Which I think means that Angelica takes the
cake? Takes the cake.
She took the cake.
Yes!
Yeah.
Someone
All
call
right.
Gordon Ramsay or Marie Antoinette.
There you go. There's your second
Wow.
rogue character. That also means
Anna
that
Paquin Rogue.
it is Anna Paquin Rogue. That means that Angelica Trae, you win this episode.
Am I cheersing?
Cheers, sure. Where can we find you, Angelica?
You can find me on most social media, Trae, AYYTRAE on Twitter as well there, and Instagram at Angelica Trae.
Sweet. Tommy, where can we find you?
You can find me on all social platforms at Tommy Bechtold. Seek me out. You just might like what you find.
Disgusting. Eric, what's going on?
You can find me at EA Voss on Instagram and Twitter. And
This week
on
on New
the
Rockstars.
channel, on New Rockstars, we'll have a video about The Watchmen, this HBO series. What's going on with it?
Yes.
What's the timeline of it? Why is Robert Redford president? He is in the show. It's awesome. And we're going to look into some other Marvel theories, looking at what the hell the 10 Rings has to do with the future of the MCU. And next week, Spider-Man Far From Home comes out on digital re-release, so we'll be doing some rewatches, finding all the other Easter eggs we missed the first time around.
Ooh.
Milk it!
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Filup Molina. You can find me at Filup Molina on Twitter and Instagram. Guys, thank you so much for going rogue with us. You guys, too, let us know in the comments down below which of these theories made any sense and which ones went really rogue and who deserved to actually win. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Make sure to get the podcast version of this by going to Rogue Theory as a podcast feed. Comes out before it does in video. Also, make sure to follow New Rockstars at New Rockstars all over the place. Thank you so much. I love everyone here, mostly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.